Well, hello, my friends. I'm Shawn Petite, and I am super excited to be here with you for Messy May. And today's prompt is marks. And I want us to think maybe just a little bit differently about our marks and mark making in our journal pages, and maybe what the significance or the meaning of our marks can mean for us and help us move forward in our journal page. So let's take a look at what I've got out here. So I have out here on my table my journal, and this is just a notebook, like a lined notebook that I use. And it comes in super handy because it's not anything special and I can just make a mess and not feel intimidated at all. And what I do is when I've been working on a project and I have leftover bits that are too yummy to let go of, I just stick them down into my journal. So that's what I have out here. Now let's talk about marks. We can do our mark making, and a lot of times I think of my mark making and making marks as the start of my journey in my journal page. And then I also think of it as a finishing touch to my journal page. And why I think that way is because so often as we, start to gather our mark making tools, and they can be anything. I've got some soft pastels. I've got a charcoal pencil, mechanical pencil, Stabilo all pencil. I've got regular colored pencils, anything and everything. There's nothing off limits when it comes to mark making. I've got some Posca pens. I've got some woodies, Stabilo woodies. And what I typically do is I kind of think about how I'm feeling for the day when I think about mark making, because sometimes we can approach our pages and think, okay, what am I going to do? And I want to ask myself, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling tired? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling joyful? What am I feeling today? And when I ask myself that question, it helps inform me as to what I want to choose. For me, if I were feeling angry, I might think about grabbing a pencil and just making red marks, because red can be fiery and that could be anger. If I'm feeling calm and happy, maybe I want to me, a calm color is either teal, feels peaceful to me because it reminds me of water, or maybe a gray. And calm is softer marks, a little bit slower marks, a little smoother marks. And if I'm feeling happy and joyful, then maybe I choose a bright color and I make the marks big and bouncy. And all of that is a way of starting that connection, emotional, physical, all of those things to the page and what we're about to create. And so I want to ask you today to think about how you're feeling today and be honest about this, because this is our sacred place to just be us. And think about the colors that might make you happy or joyful, or the things, or maybe blue is a color where you say, I need to relax. I need to relax a little bit, and I want to just kind of create some calmness in here. Maybe blue is a sad color for you, and this is the place where we can process all of those feelings and emotions. And all of these things are the start of where we go. I also want you to think about too, so our mark making here, think about some water soluble products as well. For me right now today, I'm feeling really free because I've had some time today to just kind of meander around. The day was beautiful, took the dog for a walk. I've worked on a few little things here and there. I've just kind of dilly-dallied through the day. I felt very free. My schedule's usually not like that. And so I feel really free. When I think about free, I think about maybe a little bit of this soft green, like the grass is growing, and I took the dog for the walk. And these are smooth and calm marks. They're not scratchy, they could be. Depends on what it means for you. Like I said, teal is a great color for me. So maybe I just do some real kind of flowy. I feel free, like I'm flying and floating. And that's the conversation that I'm having with myself as I'm starting my journal page. And the water-soluble products are going to give us a place to start. It's going to activate the page. So when I'm talking myself through this and I talk about, oh, I'm feeling free today, I feel like I'm floating. Immediately I start to think about butterflies or bees, or, it could mean anything. And this dialogue that we have with ourselves as we approach our journals is important because it helps inform us of where we take it, where we go, what we want to convey, what we want to say. I've got some just regular old gesso out here, and I'm just going to take that gesso and I'm going to activate this page now because I've got that water-soluble product in there. It's going to give me some color now. And I can kind of start to see, that looks fun. Maybe I should, think about this color in my page. Or, I'm thinking about the dialogue that I had with myself. Like, that color's really pretty. Love that. I wasn't even thinking of that color, but I love that. So those are the things that happen in our mark making. They start to tell our story. They start to tell us of our journey, and it's going to tell us where we go on our page. So I love that. Love that color. How freeing is that? And so our mark making plays a part in the beginning. It'll play a part towards the middle, and it'll play a part towards the end. So here I've got this lovely, lovely page, and now I have some things down here to respond to. I have those scrap pieces of paper that don't have to stay. I can completely eliminate them if I want, or I can allow them to play with the marks that we've made. Or maybe I really like this color up here, which was, I think it was actually the red, which is surprising to me. Because red's not a, maybe it's because it mixed with the gesso. I really like those soft touches. So I'm going to choose to bring some of those back in as I develop my page. So for me, these teal colors really make me feel like freedom. And here's my marks again. I'm going to come back in, and this is a water-soluble. Woodies are water-soluble. And I can come back in now and activate that color and see what I think. Really pretty. And I like that green that I brought in too. Very peaceful to me. So I'm going to bring some more of that back in. And you don't have to go over the entire page. You can, do what feels right for you and what your marks have kind of informed you to do. So I also said blue was a good color for me for peaceful, feeling peaceful. So if I brought some of these more blue marks in, what would that look like? I've got just some gesso. I've got a little green in there too. This feels like a soothing page so far. It has nothing, but it still feels calm. It feels free. It feels like what I've been thinking. And so those are the types of things that our marks can help establish for us. It can help break that blank page. It can help us move forward, and it can inform us of where we might want to go. So I like the green in here. I like this color up here. I love all of that blue up there. So maybe those are things that will inform me. So maybe I'm going to grab a little bit of teal, because teal's a soothing color to me, and a little bit of this olive green. So I've got a little bit of that olive green, and I've got some gesso. I'm staying really simple, and I'm just going to kind of make a mess, because this is a messy journal. Messy May. let's make a mess. Let's see what we can make a mess of. And see if it leads us. You know, this kind of looks like, now that I just put this green down, it looks a little bit like flowers and grass and sky because of these little bits here. So maybe I kind of allow that to kind of guide me. Okay, I'm really happy with that. I think that's where I'm going to take it. And so I'm going to add a lot of gesso to that teal. Okay, I like that. Now mark making also can come into play in the middle of our project. So I'm happy with this background. It looks fun. I'm good. So mark making can come back in. We can draw, and you might not think this is mark making. So if I were to draw flowers, simple flowers, and I could use my Stabilo All pencil for that too. Some simple flowers. Let's not make it perfect. Let's make it messy. I could do some leaves because I've got that really pretty purple color in the background. Our mark making can come into play in this time too. And it can be simple and still follow us along on our journey. I'll put a big tall one up here. Okay, so there's our mark making. Now I can choose to leave it like that, or I can come back in and maybe activate some of that. Let's see what happens. You always have to ask yourself, what if? And I'm not gonna do all of them because I kind of like the randomness of it. So now that I've got my marks finished, I've got some collage paper that's just on the side of my table that I thought would be really interesting in the as far as like grasses and different things like that, and something fun, something to kind of further the story of freedom and play and relaxation and floating and all of those things that I was thinking about. And then I just took some of that olive green and then just kind of came back over those collage papers, which I put down with Liquitex matte medium, by the way. I just came back over with quick marks again for grasses. Highlighting the sky just a little bit with a little bit of that gesso to resemble some clouds, possibly. Then I'm cutting out my butterflies, which are free to you as a free download for Messy May. And I cut those out and just put those down again with Liquitex matte medium. And you could use a glue stick and that kind of thing too if you wanted to. Adding a few additional marks with some soft pastel at the bottom. And then highlighting a space for me to write on. So as we put our final touches on our page here, I want you to also think about these final marks. These final marks are again, finalizing the journey, the thought, the feeling, the emotion. And so this happened to be on my table and I thought it's perfect. I just found it in all of my goodies. And I'm going to write feeling free. And so our writing, our journaling, what we put down, our thoughts, our emotions, those are also our marks. And are so very, very important. So feeling free. And then we can also do final marks, you know, our last little bits. These actions with our hands and making these marks really connects us to what we're doing and puts that emotion and that thought and all of that into our journal pages. And then final marks too is we can continue to kind of have that feeling of freedom. Like I'm putting these little swirlies behind my butterflies, so maybe they're floating and swirling about, because that is what's reminding me of my freedom today and how it felt and the joy and all of that. And so all of these little marks, and I can continue to write, which I typically do off of camera, my thoughts and my feelings about today and what happened and the joy and all of those things. Our marks are part of our journey from beginning and middle and end, and they play such a valuable role in our sacred space in this time that we get to just be here without anybody's thoughts, feelings, or judgment. And so take a different look at your marks today and remind yourself how important and beautiful they are.